past half hour, we've seen police investigators taking pictures of this area. Right now, we are at the intersection of Eucalyptus and Mills. The neighborhood still remains quiet at this time, and there is still a heavy police presence. Police continue to investigate the shooting that happened on I-10 East, just past the Lee Trevino exit. Paso police and crimes against persons are responding to the shooting that happened just off of Dyer Street. Well, at today's status hearing, no one permanent from the state was present. Now, this in part as the Assistant District Attorney Curtis Cox withdrew from the case just last week. Well, the neighbor I spoke to says today's incident was nothing short of scary and vicious. Now, he tells me it lasted anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, but it's still a worry for him because it's not the first time something like this happens. Now, just to give you here an idea, Raymond Willis is the neighbor I spoke to. Now, he says that the dogs came from his neighbor's home, which are just on the other side of the two houses you see there. It's also getting windier, as Brad was saying, especially here along the west side. While the Assistant District Attorney was unable to tell me just how many criminal cases are backlogged here at the county courthouse, he did confirm that they have started the process of refiling some of the cases that were dismissed over the past month.
In terms of the cases that we are refiling or are still pending at this point, currently there's a little bit in the low 80s of the cases that are either refiled or pending. And we've got in the low 420s of cases identified that we will be refiling.
Assistant District Attorney Douglas Tiemann confirms the process of refiling criminal cases has begun. This in reference to the hundreds of criminal cases that were dismissed over the past month due to DA Yvonne Rosales not indicting them within the 180 days permitted by Texas law. I asked Tiemann how many times a case can be refiled.
These were dismissed without prejudice. So the DA's office has the opportunity to go ahead and refile these up until the statute of limitations. So for misdemeanors, that's 2 years. For felonies, that starts at 3 years and goes up depending upon the severity of the felony.
Last week in referral court, the DA's office tried to refile some cases that were set to be dismissed that day, but the judge denied them because they weren't turned in on time or were missing paperwork. You know, the state had said we'd filed, but then the county clerk showed that they were not filed until later on in the day. I guess what would be your comment to that?
There are a lot of people that have been working on this. We've got a number of people not only in the intake unit, but across the district attorney's office. We've got attorneys that have been working this issue. We're working hard for El Paso.
Now, Tiemann says that the DA's office will also benefit from the DIMS program that's a partnership with the police department. Now, that program allows prosecutors to move forward with the cases immediately with the help of law enforcement instead of having to wait for a grand jury trial. I'm reporting live in downtown El Paso. Jennifer Cuevas, KFOX 14. As you can see here behind me, the work continues at Villa de Ojo and Villa Descanso here in El Paso's west side. Now, crews have been out here since yesterday working to repair this water main break, and you can see here that the scope of the work is still rather large, even bigger than earlier this afternoon when we were out here, multiple crews still here on scene working to repair the line. Now, while this has been an inconvenience for those who live in this area, the people I spoke to today say they're simply ready to have their water back.
I thought maybe we have a line busted at the house. Apparently not. If the whole neighborhood was like this. We don't want to point finger. They're working very diligently, and I appreciate their help.
Westside resident Rahel Sohail says he's taken 5 trips down to pick up water at the intersection of Ojo de Agua and Villa Descanso following yesterday morning's water main break. El Paso water crews have been working to restore service to the entire area, but have only been able to restore water to those south of Ojo de Agua as of this afternoon. One man who lives north of Ojo de Agua says while it is an inconvenience, he will get through it and adjust until it is fixed.
Going to the gym to go shower, using the dishes more than once if needed, and probably using like one toilet or whatnot if you have a 2-story building, just to get things that you normally would do with running water.
While water main breaks do happen, Denise Barra with El Paso Water explains some ruptures are larger than others and therefore can take longer to fix.
This one just happens to be a major break in that line. And right now I can tell you with that line specifically, we have started an assessment of that line just to see all options on how we can minimize the possibility of something like this happening in the future.
El Paso Water is hoping to get the issue fixed overnight.
Basically just having any type of water to cook, drink, to bathe. So that's basically what basic necessities for water,
Now here on scene, I have El Paso Water spokesperson Denise Parra, who's here to give us the latest update on the situation. Now, Denise, can you tell us exactly what is happening behind us in terms of the work?
So right now the work is, of course, continuing, and it's going to continue through the night. But as we have mentioned before, there is the 30-inch line that broke, and so right now they've made the big fix, the welding to it. They're patching up, fixing some areas on the other side of the line, and once they complete those welds, they have the welders down there right now 18 to 20 feet underground. Once those welds are complete, they'll start testing the line, and eventually they can start pushing that water slowly, testing it to make sure that the line is stable. And we're hoping that as soon as that starts to happen, we can see some of the residents and the residents who have been affected getting some of that service back.
Okay, and then so I know there's still a lot of work to be done, but what's the expectation in terms of when this could be fixed? Are we looking at tonight at all?
As far as service restored back to the customers, we're hoping in the next a few hours, once those welds and once those repairs are complete and they start testing the line. Of course, the work out here will continue beyond today and for the next several days.
Okay, thank you, Denise. All right, well, we will continue to bring you the latest update on this situation, both on air and online at cbs4local.com.